What up, y'all? I am back. It is Conquest. Jason Hodge Roberts, aka Conquest, back with part two of Election 2024, Decision 2024, the aftermath. This is your DeProgrammed podcast. Let's see if we can get the people in here. Des, let's see. Okay, Des. I'm gonna accept you right away so I can get her on here. Let's get that cracking. Um,
Hey,
Now, hey Des,
how you doing?
I'm doing great. I can't see you.
Okay.
I know you're there because I hear your voice. That usually happens sometimes with IG Lives, but I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay.
Um, I'm waiting for my co-host to show back up, and hopefully she'll be able to request her self on here. But first and foremost, how are you doing this evening?
I'm good in yourself.
I'm not bad. I'm not bad. Given the day.
I was
Given the
telling,
vibe of the day.
I was telling Arianna, I was like, I guess the Most High don't want to hear what I got to say, huh? You don't want me to act up, right?
Man, probably. Because apparently you got conspiracies upon conspiracies
I
to share
do.
with us.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I guess I'm meant to just stay quiet.
No, you're good. You're good. I mean, you're here now. So I'm sure in the playback, I will see your face on here. It's just that as of right now, I can't see you, but I know you did. This has happened sometimes before.
For some reason,
And again, I'm
it looks
waiting
like
for.
there's only one person on, just me and you on the
Yeah,
live, right?
it's just me and you.
Okay.
I'm not sure what's up with Ari.
Okay.
And Ari's not far. I'm sure she can hear me from where she's at.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So we're gonna make it happen. But you know what? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna keep it going since you're here.
Okay.
So let me ask you a couple of key questions. Same questions that she asked.
Okay.
First and foremost, okay, here she comes now. I think she's coming
Yeah.
in now. Okay, so my question is this: did you vote in this year's election?
No, I did not vote. I did not feel comfortable voting. I could see you. I don't know if you guys can see
Hello,
me.
Desiree.
I see
Thank
Ari
you
now,
for
but I
allowing the
definitely
technical
don't see you yet.
difficulties.
Can
Yeah, so I
you
don't
see
see
me,
you.
Ari?
Yes, I can. I can
Okay.
see you. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for rejoining. So as people start to file back in and we start to get back the people, yeah, please let us know about yourself. Let us know if you voted or not and why or why not. And remember, this is a safe space. So I heard you tell my co-host that the Most High don't want you to act. No, the Most High wants you to act up. You gonna act
I
up.
don't want me to act up, okay? Okay.
Say what's on your mind. Say it with your chest. Say it with your chest.
Look, I got a lot of chat. I will say what I got to say, okay?
Yeah.
So I did
We
not
here.
vote.
Okay.
Okay.
I did not
You
vote
didn't
at all.
vote.
Okay. First of all, I owe my youngest son $5
Okay.
because I was trying to join the live and he was like, "Mom, I'm telling you within you're gonna join within 10 minutes. Quit adding requests. Quit requesting, Mom." And look,
The kids know how to work this way better than us. We catching up.
yeah. So he was sitting next to me, and honestly, I'm very open-minded, and I try to teach my kids different perspectives on life and way of thinking and stuff. So my youngest was sitting right next to me, listening to everything. He was like, "Oh, that makes sense. Oh, that makes sense. Oh, that makes sense." I'm just like, "Okay, baby, let's go. Listen. We got this."
Yeah,
So
love
yeah,
that.
for sure.
This is a generational
So
conversation.
this is a generational conversation because look, they're 11 and 12 now, and eventually they'll be old enough to vote. We're gonna blink and they'll be out of high school. They're in middle school now. Blink, they're out of high school, and then they'll be able to just make these decisions on their own. And believe it or not, children, at 11, I was still trying to color within the lines. Okay, these kids at 11 and 12 now, they can run take over the world. They know how to run
Yes, they
social
can.
media, YouTube. They can do all that.
Absolutely.
So I welcome my children's curiosity. And,
That's beautiful.
yeah, so I love it. So, no, I did not vote. I didn't
Okay.
feel comfortable voting.
Why, ma'am? What's
Well,
on?
I didn't
Talk
feel
to us.
comfortable voting because I would say that for me, I didn't vote because I didn't feel comfortable voting for either party.
Okay.
I feel like if I had to vote, it would be Trump. There were just too many conspiracies surrounding Kamala. and I didn't like it, and I didn't feel comfortable. Um, I'm the type of person, like, you can't just feed me stuff to my face. I do my research. I like go into dark, like, little rabbit holes. And after like doing my research and stuff like that, I was just like, why is it that every candidate that's supporting Kamala is possibly on the Epstein list that Trump vowed to expose once
I
he took
came with you
office?
allegedly.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, YouTube. Allegedly,
Saying,
Instagram.
I'm just saying, like, the endorsements do not seem
Allegedly. No,
genuine.
we got you. We got you. We have disclaimers in every video.
Okay,
Just allegedly.
sorry. Allegedly. I just don't understand. Like, it just didn't make sense to me, and stuff was just not adding up.
Gotcha.
What was the thing that put you off the most?
The fake endorsement.
Okay.
What was the biggest fake endorsement for you? Like, what was the biggest? Because obviously she was endorsed from everybody from Glorilla to Beyonce.
All right.
Which one really rang the least true for you?
Man, all of them rang a bell for me. Even when Obama went up there allegedly and right next to Eminem, like, at the end of the day, like, we know what was said, and we know, like, yeah, we don't like Trump, but let me tell you something. Everybody knew who they were dealing with Trump. They were partying with him in the 90s, and that wasn't an issue. And he wasn't running for president then. He's running for president now. So now it's an issue. Like Chris, allegedly, all these people were on his plane going to, the E Island and stuff, partying. And it wasn't an issue then. And now he's running for president. And it's like, he's a racist. He's this, he's that. But you were partying with him in the 90s because he was that it guy. That makes no sense. And then, if you guys remember, allegedly, now y'all got me saying allegedly.
We appreciate you. The disclaimer covers it, but we appreciate you.
Thank you. Trump did say if he was elected, he was going to expose a lot of stuff. Lot of stuff.
Yes,
and the stuff that he said he was going to expose involved a lot of the 90% of the people that were endorsing Kamala. I feel like they were just endorsing Kamala for their personal interest. So they won't get exposed for the crimes and alleged stuff they were doing. So it's like a lesser of two evils.
Yeah.
It wasn't adding up. And I feel like this. I didn't vote. And this is not normal for me because when Biden and Kamala took office, I was screaming. My youngest reminded me, he's 11, so he was 4 years younger than now. He was like, "Mommy, I remember you screaming out the windows, yes, 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 yes." I was like, "Yeah, I'm woke now, baby. Like, that's just it. I'm woke now." It's the
woke gang hashtag.
Woke
yeah.
gang. So it's like,
so you voted for Biden 4 years ago.
Yes.
Okay, got you. No shame. I just want no shame in that. Obviously, right? It's like it's context. So actually, I'm glad you said that because now I want to see if you support a point. What was the most disappointing thing for you when Biden and Harris were in the office for the first 4 years? What turned you off about their presidency?
I'm trying to pick the best one. So my silence is like, well, where do I start, right?
Right.
I'm just gonna say everything. I just want to say, like, everything. I think each party's guilty of it, taking credit for stuff that was done that the other party actually did in silence and in secrecy. Because I bet you a lot of people don't know a lot of the stuff that Trump has done behind closed doors. He's actually stopped a lot of the trafficking. He's actually done a lot of stuff if you do your research. Like, really do your research. And allegedly, all of these crimes, like, I feel like people who pick their candidates, they pick what's most important to them and their household and their lifestyle. My thing is, I have 2 sons. I have children. You have children. People have children. Human trafficking is real. Child trafficking is real. All that stuff is real. And if you do your research on the candidate, on the artist that was supporting allegedly Kamala, they all had stuff behind them. So were they supporting Kamala because they really believe in her ideas? Or were they supporting Kamala because if Trump got in office, they were going to get exposed? Which one is it? I think
so that basically opened that up for you, even during the last 4 years, to say this could be a sham of a presidency or a sham of like, basically their intention isn't pure. It's not for the people. It's not for the United States. It's for, like you said, personal interest.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. I'm not knocking. I'm just saying you can vote for whoever you want to vote. you know, and I know this is going to open like a can of worms because I don't really speak about politics, you know, with a lot of my friends and family, especially. But I challenge people to take a different perspective. What if everything that, you know, Kamala and them were saying was really done by Trump, or was not done by Trump, but they were lying about the things that they really did, like, you know what I mean? Like taking credit for stuff because we want to believe that. Yes. I think everything is a facade. I mean, I challenge people just to take a different perspective, take a different point of view. And it doesn't cost you anything to see things from a different perspective. Just question it. It's not a bad thing. And actually, I think it will allow you to empathize and really understand both sides. Honestly.
So now I have a follow-up question for you. Mm-hmm. We asked a couple people before you. What issues matter most to you? What was your most important key issues that the candidates need to solve for you or still need to solve going into the next 4 years? List your
Honestly,
top three.
If I can get over them bickering and taking jabs at each other and being passive aggressive, I can name a couple. But in reality, I just saw two people sparring, really.
Mm-hmm. Right.
The whole candidacy, they were just sparring and taking jabs. And yeah, Trump may be who he is and Kamala may be who she is. But at the end of the day, like, I challenge you to take a different, but just ask questions. Do your research. Do it.
So you'll find it. What matters to you? What issues are important to you?
Child trafficking, human trafficking. I have kids. Okay. Stuff happens. You know, allegedly, we all know what's going on in the celebrity world. Everything's connected. Everything is connected. I challenge you to go down a rabbit hole.
Listen,
and if you love and value
I have a couple tabs
kids,
open.
That kind of stuff.
I have a couple tabs open.
Oh Lord.
So we might just do that. We might just go down that rabbit hole. Who knows? We got a good 40 minutes left.
Yeah. I would say I challenge you. Try it. Just question. Your jaw might drop. Yeah. I mean, I can name a couple pages y'all can follow and go ahead and do your research.
Please feel free to drop them in the chat for everyone who's coming in. Yeah, absolutely. But I just think it's very interesting the people we've had on where we're all coming from different walks of life and look how many different issues matter.
Hey, look, I'm Dominican and Puerto Rican. You would think I would never in a million years would say this. Yeah. I didn't think in a million years I would be here. I never thought I never thought 4 years ago I would be on the opposite end. Or at least
let me ask you a question. Mm-hmm. As you say that, let me ask you this question. Mm-hmm. What do you think about the idea of you being, let's just say you're a Trump supporter. Let's say you openly, publicly say, hey, I'm voting for Donald J. Trump for presidency. I'm happy he was elected. This was my guy. I'm make America great again. Whatever the slogan, Trump will fix it. What do you say about the people who are seen as that, but they're minorities, and now they've become sellouts. They've become ostracized. They can't even share that they voted for Trump in public in fear of backlash. Mm-hmm. What do you say to that?
I say I understand. And it took a really close friend that I had. Like I said, I'm Dominican Puerto Rican. It took a really close friend that I had that was Cuban to explain to me why she voted for Trump the first time. Mm. Think about Cuba. Think about Fidel. Think about how that whole, connected. And I was like, why would you vote for Trump? You're crazy. You're Hispanic. And when she explained it to me, it made sense. And it goes back to what we said in the beginning of the conversation. I forgot your beautiful friend. What's her name? The one that raps really hard.
Vicky.
She made a point. Yeah, she made a point. Everywhere around the world, there's one ruler, one king, one dictator, whatever you want to call it. There's a one. Think about how many even Hispanic countries or whatever the case is, South America, Caribbean, whatever, are run by one person. Just one. So why would we be so far-fetched to think that they wouldn't agree with Trump?
That's some perspective.
Why would we be so obnoxious or egotistical to believe that they would have a problem with just having one ruler?
It's what they've known all their lives.
Exactly.
Right. And that even opens up a rabbit hole because I'm a little bit of a historian, and I don't agree with us having the monarchy. I do believe that we definitely operated better under kings and queens, and I do believe that we do need both sides of the community. But for a long time, it's been this one ruler thing that I believe just personally feeds into the ego of it all. Because even that one
And
person
that's what I call
has
it,
a
ego.
cabinet, that person has a group, that person has a gang, that person has a consulate, Senate and House, right? So even though that one person's the representative, it's really ruled by a whole bunch of people. I just don't understand why the whole bunch of people can't be the rulers.
Yeah.
Like the group can be the rulers, but we need that one figurehead, right?
Yeah. And I do want to point out also something that you said earlier in the conversation. Shoot, I just had like a total brain fart.
That's okay.
It's okay.
It flew away. It's gonna come back.
Right. It'll come back. It'll come back with a
Mhm.
fury. Okay. But like I honestly think like I just challenge people to do their research, and everything is connected. I know you guys see allegedly all these CEOs and everyone stepping down behind a conspiracy, and that all that's connected. Everyone is protecting themselves.
Right.
And if they're protecting themselves, they're protecting someone who's about to take office that's going to protect them.
Hey, Dad.
Trump, yeah.
No, finish yourself. No, I had the question loaded.
Allegedly, Trump clearly said once he takes office, he's going to expose the Epstein list. He has no real celebrity endorsements. Kamala has them all.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
Y'all heard it here first. Y'all heard it here.
Hey, Dad, I got
the dots for yourself.
I got one more question before I let you go. Now you mentioned in your breakdown of how you saw this, in hearing your breakdown towards this, I understand and recognize that obviously children and child care and protection of children mean a lot to you.
Yeah.
So I feel like Kamala based a lot of her campaign around the woman's right to choose. In fact, she spent about 46 minutes of her time in her last campaign speech, her main last campaign speech, basically breaking that down. Like freedom was the campaign slogan, largely centered around that. As a woman, how did you feel about that? How did you perceive that? How did you take that? How did you receive that? Particularly coming from her.
Okay, so I agree every woman should have full control of their body. And let me just make it clear, just because we pick either candidate doesn't mean we agree 100% with what they represent.
Right.
We can agree with a little what Trump says and with a little what Kamala says too.
Right.
We can do that. But if we had to pick, which is what our options are, then we're going to pick, right?
Yeah.
I do believe every woman should have every control of their body. Shouldn't no man sitting behind a desk, a man of a particular age group, because it looks like they're over a certain age, can tell me what to do with my body. I don't agree with that.
Okay.
How did you
feel about Kamala?
I was gonna get to that.
Did you feel like there was something that really she held dear, or do you think that was something that she figured, well, you know what, to win this presidency, I'm gonna use it?
I agree. It was disingenuous. Not that it was disingenuous, because I believe she believes I think she believes in it. Don't get me wrong. I feel like a certain party, left or right, whatever you believe, they know they're in this. They've been doing this for a while. They know how to pull at certain heartstrings and what groups of people are interested in fighting for more topics than others and supporting. And I feel like she may be right in bringing it up, but to an extent, I feel like a lot of what she said was disingenuous. That's just my opinion. I feel like it was just a performance. And to be honest, I know it sounds crazy. Trump wasn't performing. We all know how he is. Hell, like that's the problem. Like, are we? Look, we say it all the time. Do we respect someone who's gonna lie to us or who's gonna tell us to our face what it is? If you want to tell me what it is, then let me be like, damn, he is a racist asshole. But to an extent, I'd rather that Then me like, yeah. Come to find out, the veils unfolded. Everything they said was a plot. There was a plot twist.
There's a great quote that sums up what you said. I'd rather an honest enemy than a dishonest friend.
You know why? Because you can always trust the person to be a person. If I know that I'm dealing with a person who's a liar and a cheater, I could trust that person more than the person that's smiling in my face. You know why? Because I know I could trust that person to always be a liar and a cheater. That's a fact.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
If you're dealing with someone who's smiling in your face all the time and they coming off like, like they're not an enemy in some way, shape, or form, that's what you need to watch out for, because you cannot put your finger on that person. The moment you can see what you're dealing with, people can swallow that pill a lot smoother.
Conquest knows that this is like a plug of mine, but it's copyright free, so I'm gonna do it. Dun, 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 they not like us. They not like us. They not like us. Dun, 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 dun. Get them out of here. They out. Bye. Kamala, you're fired. But it's not. Listen, Desiree, it was a pleasure speaking with you. We really pray that these next 4 years we can all come together. The division in the country starts to settle. We can unify as citizens under one government. Even if that government needs correction, we're the ones to do it. So
I remember what it was I was going to say.
Yeah, of course. It flew back.
Yeah, sorry. It was something you said earlier, Ari. You said that it just left again. It was like right here. I was waiting for you to finish.
It got wings. Yeah. It's okay. It's going to come back home to roost. We right here. We have a good 30 minutes. I would say 35 minutes left. So if it comes back in again, stay in the chat. If it recycles, just request a video again.
Sure.
But we're going to touch on some things that you said. And thank you so much for sharing your opinion, being vulnerable. We want to thank everybody for being vulnerable so far. We know it's a touchy subject. We know it can be emotional for some. But again, I think that having this platform and having everyone, giving everyone the chance to have a voice is very important.
Very important.
I believe our vote matters. That's what it is. I believe our vote matters now. So I'm restoring my faith in our vote mattering. I feel like if Kamala would have won, I would have questioned if us voting, all this stuff, vote. Your vote matters. Your vote matters. If she would have won, I would have questioned that. But because Trump won, hey, I'm not saying, hey, Trump won, blah, blah, I'm all for it. What I'm saying is, at least we know that the votes matter because we know he's in office. So now, when the next election comes around, I feel comfortable saying my vote matters. Let me get my ass to the polls.
All praise.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Absolutely.
That was something Ari struggled with for at least 4 years.
I mean, it makes sense. Yeah. Unfortunately,
and it was a bigger subject too. But and it was a bigger subject than what they led on too. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of people questioned democracy after 2020, but they didn't do breaking news about it. No one covered it. No one covered why 20 million people didn't vote this year as opposed to last year. But I think that's a great conversation. That's a lot of that would make Trump. That would be the difference of if Trump got that being the most popular presidential candidate ever. Mm-hmm. It would have put him at 90 million votes. But then that's just saying if you would have got
the votes were actually counted. You know what I mean? Like that's then true. We know that our votes mattered, as opposed to any other party winning. And we're like, wait a minute, did they already pre-select who was going to win anyway? So did our vote really matter? And then that goes down another rabbit hole. What's up with the real democracy? Like, is this a real thing?
We're going to call the segment the rabbit hole. That's what we're going to call the controversial topic. The conspiracy, we're going to call it the rabbit hole. That's what we're going to call the segment. We're going to feature Desiree. To be like, just get the topic of the controversy. Let's just dig into it for a good 30 minutes. But Desiree, we appreciate you. Thank you so much again for everything. We're going to delve into this topic now because we do think people need to know the facts. So Conquest, I have pulled up here, Project 2025. Yeah.
I did.
We're going to get into it a little bit.
We definitely had that conversation earlier about that. That definitely came up in my group chat, or at least I brought it up in my group chat. Shout out to the Good Fight Coalition, because people need to understand what that is. So now that you have it out, summarize somehow in 30 minutes a 200-page document about
1,000 project page. If they summarize the 200 pages, I'm summarizing into 5 minutes, but I try my best. That doesn't do it justice. Again, we encourage research and stuff. But I just wanted to lay a banner really quickly because we touched on reproductive rights. I'm sorry we couldn't get Victoria back in here.
Sorry, Victoria.
But I think it was very important for people to know, because Vicky spoke, but I think Victoria wanted to speak, but we lost her in the transition.
Sorry,
I think
Victoria.
I think it's very important that people understand.
Right.
Trump did not ban abortion. That is that's misinformation. What Trump did was he overturned Roe v. Wade. Roe v. Wade was a federal case that basically told all the United States, regardless of what the states thought independently, that they had to allow abortion. That caused a major division. If you do any studying into abortion, there's a huge division between pro-lifers and pro-choicers. Mm-hmm. They might change their titles now, but that's what they were when I was studying them. So pro-lifers are obviously anti-abortion. Mm-hmm. Pro-choice is for abortion. And that's been a huge debate ever since Roe v. Wade was settled. Yep. What Trump did is he took that decision away from the federal government, meaning that the House and the Senate no longer can vote for all 50 states. It is now up to your state legislature to basically vote on that, which actually gives more power to the woman, because now it's to a state by state basis. It's now where you live. Mm-hmm. So when people say Trump banned abortion, that's not true. He took it out of the federal hands and he gave it back to the states. And I could have outdated information, but as of the election, I think it was a talking point for Kamala's team. For Trump's team, 31 states did still allow abortions. Now they changed them from state to state. So some people you can abort up to 15 weeks. Some of them is 24, but other states completely denounced it. Other states just said, no, we don't want to do abortion. And then even some states said, hey, listen, we allow abortion, but we only allow it up to emergency procedure, a medical emergency procedure. So it's no longer a contraceptive option, which as a woman, I'm not speaking for all women, so I'm not even going to say that. As myself, I do not agree with abortion being treated like a contraceptive option. I believe we have pills. I believe we have birth control. I believe we have contraceptives. We have condoms. Females have female condoms. We have so many birth options to where if we want to control if we have pregnancy or not, we can do that. I do not believe abortion should be one of those. I do not believe that women should be able to go into a clinic as a birth control option and just be like, I want this baby out of me. There's been too many studies that I have personally researched to where it leaves the woman so traumatized that some women don't even understand that bipolarism comes from their abortions. Their schizophrenia comes from their abortions. There are psychologists that are digging into this so heavy because they're treating that like a pill. They're treating that surgery like you do an IVF. So I think it's very important that people stay aware and informed. Women, we come in all different mindsets, all different ethnicities, all different ages, all different skin colors. So we all have different opinions. But for me, him putting it back to the states is the best thing he could have did. I think it's way too broad of a topic just to have all 50 states agree or disagree on something. So I just want to make that clear because we talked about reproductive rights. It's the reason why I didn't like Kamala coming for reproductive rights, because if you really look down to that basis, the only reason why she was able to get the women's votes is because she kept saying Trump banned abortion. When he overturned it, he never did. So that whole reproductive rights, I'm fighting for the women's rights, is like we still have rights. We still have rights. So it falls apart for me. And if you know, me and you watched Texas's debate together, that's all that rally was about. All that rally was about was reproductive rights and her saying we're going to bring back abortions. It's just like, but states have abortions. So,
and what is your other policies? What else are you here for? What else are you trying to do for America outside of, bringing back the right to have abortions across the country? What else are you here for?
Absolutely. Yeah. So that was just my thing. I just wanted to lay that disclaimer out there. That's the foundation. Trump did not ban abortion. There is no anti-abortion ban. It was literally him overturning Roe v. Wade and giving it back to the states so that women in their states can vote on that. Right. And I believe that was actually a ballot item this year as well in everyone's state to vote on abortion policy. So, yes.
So, now that we've covered that, now we got to look at Project 2025.
Yeah, let's get into this a little bit,
yeah.
right? Because the major issues that Americans had in this presidency, I didn't hear anybody, I guess, bring it up, but I'm going to be the one to bring it up. This economy sucks, okay? I don't like paying $40 for me and 2 kids at McDonald's, okay? I liked when the dollar menu was actually the dollar menu and they not putting tax of $2 on a dollar burger, okay? So I think the economy sucks. That was a major issue for a lot of Americans, that the economy is not doing well, inflation's really bad, and our wages are not increasing to match inflation, right? So that was a major issue. The next major issue that was on the campaign trail was immigration. What are they going to do about illegal immigrants? What are they going to do about people who are coming across the border? Asylum states, stuff like that. So I want to know your opinion on those two before we get into it, because those are the two things that in Project 2025, they say we're going back to the 18th century with.
Right. Well, I'm not going to argue for a bad economy. So that's
do you agree that we live in, I don't know, like how you been living these last 4 years? Are we good? Are we on the up and up? Like, I mean, man, my grocery bill come up to like $500 every week. I'm good. I'm straight, you know?
Yeah. And as far as illegal immigrants is concerned, I think it is one of those things where, listen, if you're going to be here all the way and figure out what that is for you. I mean, again, I'm speaking as a Trinidadian man, right? I have never been here in this country illegally, ever. Ever. It's never happened. You know, once I knew that a certain thing was happening, because I came here on a college visa, and I knew ultimately I was going to live here. I mean, I've always felt like I was destined to live in America. That's always been a thing. And so I had to do what I had to do to make sure that, you know, the last thing I want is like immigration knocking on my door looking for me. Like, that doesn't make sense. Now, granted, and I understand that certain people's situations are different, and I don't want to make a sweeping situation, because, again, even with me getting myself situated, I had certain educational advantages towards that. Not everybody does, but I think that it's going to be a situation where, here's a deeper part of it. There's people who are living here and their expense is costing other people's expense. You know what I'm saying? It's making it hard for everybody else. So there needs to be some sort of cap on that, right? Or else it's just going to be chaos, right? You know, because again, now you're dealing with dependence you don't even realize you had because of just how things are set up. So I feel like that's something that needs to be addressed. So that's pretty much what I got on that.
So did it bother you at all, being a Trinidadian American, that immigration was even a discussion topic? Mass deportation was a conversation topic, because that was a lot of Trump's pushback.
Yeah, so I think that, you know, sometimes it shouldn't be, but optics are everything. And so, you know what it is? I'm gonna just be honest. I don't know if there's a way to solve this issue that's going to please everybody, and that's just the facts, right? It's just one of those things where it's like, again, and I think it was either Vicky or Desiree who mentioned it. Maybe Desiree. This guy is a billionaire. He's electing to put himself in a position where he's running a country where it's nothing but a bunch of hard decisions that need to be made. Like, hard decisions. And it's one of those, hey, there's a running joke that when Obama went into office, his hair was black. And by the time he left 8 years later,
It was
my man
gray.
was silver. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's just one of those things where it's just like, man, this is going to be tough all around. I think the thing is that Donald's realness and candor is so blunt. He is a blunt force object that is just that it just rubs people the wrong way. It feels like it feels uncaring. It feels like, yeah, I understand that we have a deportation problem, but man, these kids, like,
Right.
how are you handling them? You're almost treating them like produce, like, that's really what it comes down to. I think that's what people's main issue is that, because if you were to ask people for real, hey man, do you think that there's an immigration issue and that should be addressed? Most people will say yes if they're really of sound mind and conscience. I think the question is always how it's addressed, how it looks, how it's dealt with, and that's where the racist overtones come in. That's when things become murky.
Mm.
Yeah.
It is very interesting you're saying that, because it is, as you know, in Project 2025. So it does say that mass deportation of illegal immigrants, that policy was true, that he is going to push for the removal of all of those who have violated under immigration laws. This is under project2025.org, for anyone who wants to do the research behind it. But they're basically doing the true and falses as to what people thought was going on in that project. So they are pushing for mass deportation. That is a thing. Trump has been very vocal about that and in his campaign. I agree with it, but not for the reasons why people might jump to. So do I feel that everyone has a fair shot in this country? Yes. Do I feel like everyone should have opportunities to succeed? Yes. Whether they be in America or in any other country, I feel like a country should be designed to where you have the most opportunity for success in that country. I don't think America should be exclusive to that. But I do understand the work that America has put in to make it so that anyone in the world can come here and be successful. But to that point, just like you're a Trinity American, I'm a Trinity American. I'm the first generation born here. My parents are legal immigrants. So when I think of people who come over illegally, it's not that I don't feel a sympathy for what things could be going on in their country, whether they're escaping prosecution or whatever. But it does force me to look at my family and be like, okay, my family was able to do this the right way through all odds and procedure, and it ended up making a future for me to where I'll never understand what that fight was. So if my parents and my grandparents, even my grandparents actually came over legal too, if they are in that boat to where they can go through procedure, then I don't think anyone's the exception to the rule to that. And I do think that there is, and I think Americans get very, very up in arms about that subject, but we are the loosest country when it comes to immigration law. China does not have stay around long enough and you get a citizenship. Russia doesn't have it. Ethiopia doesn't have it. Egypt doesn't have it. Like, you can name any country. Egypt right now is not taking in Palestinians, and they're in the middle of war. We have the loosest immigration laws, and us just getting a little stricter with it to make sure that it. And I thought of this quote today, but we can't take care of everyone if we don't take care of home. I'll hear Americans say two things. Why are we giving money to other countries when we have so many problems here? And then they'll say, well, don't kick the immigrants out because they need a place to stay. You can't take care of both. You can't take care of the world and its problems and still have problems at home. You have to clean up home first. So it would make sense that we get more strict with immigration, at least for me, get more strict with immigration. And then once home is settled, once we solve the veteran crisis, the veteran homeless crisis, which is something I really stand for and stand behind, because I don't think homeless vets should not be a thing. Once we get behind that, once we get behind a crazy economy and all the poverty we have in this country, once we get behind the education system and the quality of education that's given for free and what things are taught to our kids publicly, once we get behind a lot of, let's not talk about gun laws. Once we get behind all that and we start to once we start to settle down all that, then we can let the rest of the world in, because now we know who we are as Americans. Now we know what we stand for. So now if anyone comes in and we're just like, well, wait a minute, this is not how we do things here, we know what that is.
Right.
We know what we stand on. And that actually goes into racism too a lot, right? Because you'll have that whole racism war in that. And me and you were talking about that earlier. But I don't think Trump or any president should be responsible for racism at such a social level. And me, you talk of that being Black and brown people. So is Trump a racist? Maybe. That thing could be arguable. But then I don't know any president since Abraham Lincoln that did anything regarding race. Right. There was never a policy other than the civil rights movement. There was never a policy that was put in after that said, oh yeah, African Americans can't do this. Right. Hispanic people can't do that. It was never anything race specific after that because we stopped becoming an oppressed class after the civil rights.
Got it. No.
So 2025, Project 2025, ladies and gentlemen, you guys should definitely do your research into it. Yes, he is going to do mass deportation of illegal immigrants, but I would suggest you guys look into the policies of what that is because that was a very big pushback that they had on him. And at the end of the day, he's our president. So you might as well know his policies and how you're either going to fight it / boycott it, right, or how you're going to support it. So this is something that he's really standing for. Economy-wise, what did they say? Oh, he's not cutting Social Security. That's false. He's not eliminating unions or worker protections. That's false. He's not raising the retirement age. That's also false. And he's not cutting Medicare.
Is he cutting, what's the question I had? What about affordable housing?
I'm not sure about affordable housing. I'm going to tell you why. People have projected Project 2025 to be Trump's plan. The first misconception that's on this website is that Project 2025 wasn't made for a candidate. It was actually made in 2022. And it was made with conservative ideals. So it was never made specifically for Trump or any president for that matter, any candidate. Right. So in terms of his policy, I think we should go into his policy and see, okay, are you banning affordable housing, or are you banning a lot of, I remember there was a bipartisan bill that, I don't know if you remember SNAP in New York.
I do.
And
I do.
WIC for women and children. I was actually on WIC as a mom. Right. That was a bipartisan bill. They ended that, but they didn't end it because it didn't have bipartisan support. They ended it because New York was in debt. And they needed that money from that budget in order to pay for other things, like the immigration crisis. So they banned stuff that women actually need because children are expensive and us getting on our feet is expensive. Right. And they completely took that over in order to give to police workers and people who had to deal with the immigration crisis in New York. So I don't know in terms of like affordable housing and stuff, that might be something that's a specific Trump policy. But no, that's not in Project 2025. And there's nothing saying that he's going to take Project 2025 and enact it either.
What was the other important or major question that people had about Project 2025? Affordable housing was one. Where do you think people are getting the idea that this particular plan of action or agenda is going to take us back into the dark ages?
Because I believe number one, I don't believe most people read it. I'm just going to be blunt. I don't think most people read it. So it's easy for people to say, oh my gosh, he's trying to ban, I don't know. If they hear the rumor that he's trying to ban, how you say, like abortion rights, for example, they're automatically going to think he's trying to put us back to, I heard the joke, like the Handmaid's Tale, like he's trying to put us back there. Desiree, exactly. Ignorance is bliss, right? So I do believe people just believe the first thing that they hear, which goes to show how trusting Americans are still, but it's also a con too, because that means they're easy to trick and they're easy to lie to. So I think that's where it comes from, because there was a lie right here that I'm looking at where someone lied and said that they plan on banning books and curriculum about slavery or something. I have no idea. They're trying to end civil rights. I don't know. Like, I'm literally looking at this while we're talking about it. Like, I don't know.
Right. That actually made me remember something that was a concern. I remember it coming up in the group chat, and I was like, I don't know how true that is, but it said how this project could actually grossly affect the DOE. Department of Education.
They don't ban anything about slavery. It says it does not advocate for banning books or curriculum about slavery. It says it doesn't end civil rights either. I'm just confused as to where the lies are coming from, or just the information in general. Yeah, it's definitely manipulation because, and I'm black, so I'm gonna say this, and if I get banned for saying this, then Conquest just put a disclaimer in there too. But what do they say about black people? If you want to hide anything from a black person, you put it in a book.
Yeah, I thought about that statement earlier when you had said something else.
Yeah, and that's not me coming for, again, I do identify as African American, Trini American, whatever in that space. I think they play on the fact that we're so smart. I think what ends up happening is that we have made ourselves lazy to education. Because we could easily pick up these books. They literally have it there for us to read. It's just, you go ask your neighbor. I dare everyone on this podcast right now, go ask your neighbor if they read this whole thing. Just ask them. We had from 2022 to now to read a 900-day report. Isn't that like a page a day? If you really think about it, that's like a page a day, right? No, most people are not reading it. So people can lie about it the way that they want. So that's where I think the lies are coming from, is that people don't read it. And then they hear Trump behind it, right? So people already have their preconceived notions of Trump. So once you have that preconceived notion of Trump, oh, he's trying to put us back to the dark ages, and then you hear, oh, he's backing Project 2025, rapid fire. You can just put anything on it that's going to make him seem bad. So now, I guess we're going to wrap it up with this. But I wanted to say thank you to everyone. Again, it's a very sensitive topic. We knew that this was coming right off the election.
Yeah, I love the dialogue. I'm glad that people were so forthcoming and so transparent about, just their experiences with the candidates, their trepidation about the voting system, their feelings about policies and lack thereof, their feeling of the one thing that I thought was a sweeping statement, and I'm sure maybe Ari will concur, is that people do not want to be lied to. People want to feel the candidates that are possibly being elected are their authentic selves.
Absolutely.
Good, bad, or indifferent. And I think that was a heavy indictment about Kamala. Because
Absolutely.
I feel like Donald Trump has always been who he says he is, like it or not. And at the end of the day, that's very much the American way. You got to respect it.
Gotta respect it. And if anything, Kendrick and Kat laid the precedent for that year. We're done dealing with liars and fakers across the board. Henry, to answer your question, no, they're not banning the Department of Education. They basically said Project 2025 was going to ban civil rights education inside of the curriculum, and they proved it to be false. Project 2025 does not talk anything about banning slavery in any curriculum across the United States. But that's what they wanted people to believe. But yeah, I think the age is over. I think the age of lying is over. I think people are done being lied to. Internet is a thing. I do appreciate people not censoring the truth. It allows us to kind of dig into our holes for ourselves, or how Desiree said, her rabbit holes, right? But any one of us can do it. Any of us can go on the internet with access and say, okay, let me research more about this.
Yeah,
let me see more about that. Mm-hmm. And Donald Trump he is probably one of the most honest candidates I think we've had. It's not a show for him. If you don't like him, you can honestly say why you don't like him. Because he stands on what he is. And I think that's better. And not even to go to the war, Ukraine and Russia, but it's the same thing with Putin. Putin for a long time honestly said that he was going to invade Ukraine. They just didn't take him seriously. So anyone who knew to take Putin at his word knew when that time was coming.
Facts.
So when those bombs and whatever he did to Ukraine happened, everyone wanted to act so off guard. I was like, you guys don't take your enemies for what they're saying. You think they're playing show like you're playing show. You think they're acting the way you're acting, and they're not. They're calling your bluff. So Donald Trump, even whether you like him or not, he is our president for 2025. I honestly am excited for the next 4 years. I'm excited for what that means for democracy. I'm excited for what that means for us just as a people coming together. And like a lot of our guests said today, just restoring the faith in what it means to be an American and having that right to vote for the people who we say are our representatives and care for the issues that we really care for. In America, and sidebar, Trump could be racist. I don't expect my president to end racism. I think Black people should start by banning that N word. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Stop putting accountability on other people, and let's start putting accountability back on ourselves. We should be the first people to stop being racist to ourselves.
I feel that's a podcast in the making. How can Black people solve Black people problems? You know what I'm saying? I think
this is where I think Dr. Umar come back in.
Yeah, you're gonna get there. But yeah, man.
We're gonna get there. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, please, if we missed any topics, we're gonna lay some things out in the descriptions, and when we're posting the episode, you guys can feel free. It's project2025.org, Associated Press, called the election at 5:35 a.m. Eastern Standard Time today. Please go ahead, follow the race, follow how the states won. I think there's actually a couple more states that they're still trying to finish out now with. But yeah, Trump is our president for 2025. And whether we like it or not, we're all Americans. We're all here. I love every single one of my citizens, all of my peers. And I look forward to the next 4 years of us trying to figure this all out.
The 45th and the 47th. How you like them?
The 45th and the 45, 47 for people who play the lotto. 45, 47. Right. Play that pick 4. Quick pick. Quick picking. What is it? Straight and square or something like that. Whatever it's called.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it, man. Emergency episode, election 2024, the aftermath, courtesy of your DeProgrammed podcast. So with that being said, I am Jason Andre Roberts, aka Conquest.
And I'm Arianna Apparicio, aka Ari.
This has been your DeProgrammed podcast. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, by the way, we have a new episode dropping tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern. My man Adam's a Christian hip-hop artist, one of the best hip-hop artists out there, Christian or secular. He just dropped an album this weekend. We have the IG Live interview on YouTube and a further interview coming really soon. But part 1 drops tomorrow at 12 p.m. at your DeProgrammed podcast on YouTube.
Subscribe, like, comment, guys. We really appreciate all the support. Thank you.
Exactly. At your DeProgrammed podcast. So make sure you tune in 12 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. That is November 7th. And yes. With that said, until next time, stay tuned for your next regularly scheduled
DeProgramming. Later, guys. DeProgramming. Later, everybody.
Salute.